Hello, Beard Brothers. I hope you're all doing well out there. I wanted to just talk a little about a statistic that I seen, and the perception of beards is always an evolutionary thing. It's always changing one way or the other. It's never staying the same like it should. The opinions about clean-shaven or barefaced men has pretty much stayed consistent over time. But when it comes to beards, there's different trends. Sometimes they're in, sometimes they're not. But where are we at? Well, it says about beards in terms of likeness of them that even though society and Hollywood and so on is catching on to them, it still says that the attractiveness of facial hair is subjective, and women on split on whether beards rate better than clean shaven look, while 45% prefer baby smooth cheeks, as what it says. Baby smooth cheeks. I'd say a feminine uh, look or just an unmanly look. 55% give a bearded man a thumbs up. Now, of course, there's many different types of beards. There's many different styles. So I don't know if they took that into account. But uh, it's just not the beard. It's just the obsession with shaving people have in general. And I've noticed, and something I try to do is just look at, couples when I see them and I see a man with a beard. Depending on the style of his beard, you could tell the type of style the woman's going to have that's with him. But I also just notice beards in general. So, like when I'm at an airport or something and I'm watching, if I see a woman in high heels, there's a good chance she's not with a man who has a beard. Uh, it should seem, maybe the bigger the shoes, the bigger the beard. No, but it's kind of the opposite. Uh, from my notice, it's women with no heels that are more likely to be with a man, and women with no shoes that are more likely to be with a man with a big beard. But the type of, I don't want to say entitled or the Karens out there, but those are the ones that prefer often smooth-faced, feminine look of a man without a beard, just from my observation out there. And that's not a 100% rule, because there are exceptions. Every now and then somebody might say, well, I like high heels and I dress a certain way, but I like beards. But for the most part, that's what I find the way it is. But 55% give bearded men a thumbs up. And then there's the bearded men that are like the, the the shadow look. That's just like the George Michael uh, look of just a shadow. Or, is it a beard or did they forget to shave? Then there's uh, the big beard look. So there's kind of difference is of opinions about these different things. It says also, while the majority of men who shave focus on their face, ladies don't want them to forget about what's below the neck. 33% of women are okay with men shaving their back hair, while another 17% prefer a smooth chest or like a smooth chest. And manscaping is just taking the obsession of uh, taking away your manhood and just applying it all over your body. Now, there are some people in some cultures where men can't seem to grow beards and they just don't have body hair. And that's one thing. But destroying what was there is another thing. And this is just the preference of the world today. And the world today is obsessed with shaving. Gillette is a big business. Razor blades are a big business. Anything to remove the hair, seems to still appeal to the majority of people out there in the world. But thankfully so, beards are catching on and people are getting it. And I would say and suggest that the 45% of women that prefer a smooth face or a beardless face versus the 55% that are okay with beards, I would suggest to say that, like anything, and when you understand nature and the way it works, body hair does have attractiveness. So there's a particular, scent, and it's not in a bad way, but it's like when animals are in heat, they put off a particular scent, and there's a particular scent on the beards that the partner is attracted to. It's not only the look, and it's also the feel. There's a particular feel to the body hair versus the non-body hair. So I think a woman would much rather, at least women that likes beards, or would much rather feel a beard instead of stubble. Just my thought on that. And it's quite interesting because men, if you go on to grow a beard, you have to kind of think about the type of woman that you want to be with, because certain women just won't like beards. And like I said, my observation is the type of women that don't like beards versus the ones that do, you can pretty much know uh, who they are, what they look like, and how they act based on just the historical evidence that's out there. Now we run into this problem. What if you're a man that's been destroying your beard and had this baby face woman who look to your face all this time, but then something changes? You see one of these videos, or you just get a revelation that I don't want to destroy my face anymore, anything like this. But you're with one of those women that prefer you to be clean shaven, and now you decide to let your beard grow and stop destroying it. Now we run into an issue, because if you're picking the woman uh, prior to your relationship and you have a beard, well, obviously the women that don't like beards are going to run from you, and the ones that do are going to be attracted to you, that they're going to run to you. But what do you do when you in a relationship and you decide to let your beard grow? Now you're running into a situation where that person that doesn't like beards is going to have to live with it and deal with it. Well, that's the way it should be. But what often happens is, it says, man to say for years, I want to grow a beard, but my wife won't let me, which is some of the saddest words I've ever heard in the world. The saddest situations. But my wife won't let me, or my girlfriend doesn't like that. She doesn't want me to. You talk about opinionated, and you talk about just, I'll try not to say bad names here, but it's understandable that certain people like certain things, but men, don't let a woman tell you not to let your beard grow if you want to grow it. If you want to work with them, and you want to keep it shaped and trimmed to the way that they'll find more pleasing, that's one thing. But to completely destroy what that should be there and you figured it out, don't let that happen. And you'd be quite surprised. They might come along later and say, you know what, I wasn't attracted to this, but then I decided I'm attracted to this because I'm attracted to you, who are not living against how you should be. Now you feel free to do what you want, look how you want, and I feel better about that. That's how women should react. So just an interesting observation. But I like to observe that when I interview men and I see men with beards, just the person they're with, and maybe even interview the person they're with and see what they think about it. So we live in a society today where still, even though beards are more accepted, they're still pretty much shunned in many situations, and looked down on and spoken down on. But certain parts of the world, that's not the case. Certain parts of the world, men and women aren't obsessed with shaving, and they actually appreciate the hair that they have. So it's quite interesting. But whether you have a big beard, a small beard, or you're thinking of letting your beard grow, regardless of how women are attracted or not attracted to you, regardless of what the statistics say, I got one thing to say, men. Beard on, and let it grow and let it flow.
Grow your beard, grow it long, stand up strong.